Welcome to another episode of Explicitly Unbiased. It's our instant reaction episode going over NFL games and, of course, week 2 of college football. Caleb, hit that intro.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Explicitly Unbiased. I'm Caleb. He's Gerardo. Today, the first NFL Sunday of the year. A holiday everybody kind of looks forward to. We're all very excited, very passionate. It should be a national holiday, honestly, including the Monday. Like the Monday off, we'll have Labor Day and then this.
Why don't we have Thursday through Monday off?
I certainly agree. But yeah, so we'll go over the afternoon slate in the primetime games that happened on Thursday and Friday. And obviously college football happened. We'll talk about that. We obviously had a vested interest in some certain quarterbacks, some certain matchups. We'll give that all some attention, kind of our instant thoughts, and then we'll come back midweek and kind of sort it all out. As you can see, new camera. I'm nice and shiny. We're still trying to figure out how to find a way to position this best. But you can see me a little clearly now, so that's good.
Slowly but surely, we are upgrading, getting better 1% each and every week, right?
Absolutely, that should be the goal. So let's just start off Thursday night football. We're gonna run through these scores, kind of give you a quick thought, and then we'll get into anything that seems interesting. First games first. Thursday night football. The season kicked off with the Cowboys and Eagles. The Eagles win 24-20. Jalen Hurts 152 yards passing. You had 62 yards on the ground, making up for 114 total, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So not a bad day for Jalen Hurts and the defending champion Eagles. The Cowboys fall to 0-1. Gerardo, was kind of like your main takeaway out of here?
CeeDee Lamb, despite those big notable drops in the game, I mean, he still went for 7 receptions for 110 yards. He's really looking like he is washing off what last year CeeDee Lamb was. He's probably going to be a top 2 receiver in the league this year.
Friday night, the Chargers and Chiefs met in Brazil. I feel like I went all week saying Mexico. They met in Brazil, and the Chargers came out victorious 27-21. Justin Herbert, 318 yards and 3 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes on the other side of the ball, 24-39, 258 and a score, 57 yards and a score on the ground as well. But yeah, Chargers emerged victorious. What's your take on this one?
Justin Herbert's looking for an MVP-like season. He is making his other wide receivers outside of Ladd improve, and that's kind of what you want to see out of your elite quarterback.
Kicking off our Sunday afternoon, the Indianapolis Colts took on the Miami Dolphins and destroyed them. The Colts win 33-8. Daniel Jones, 272 yards and a touchdown in his debut as an Indianapolis Colts signal caller. Also had 2 scores on the ground, picking up for a 3 touchdown day. A little under 300 yards total purpose. Yeah, what do you make of this?
Obviously, the Colts have surrounded themselves with really good success. I mean, Daniel Jones did exactly what you would want in this Colts offense, but Miami is slowly but surely imploding, it seems like.
All right, team me up for this one, the Steelers and the Jets.
Steelers and the Jets, my man. Look, this was a big game for, I would say, revenge game for Aaron Rodgers, and he absolutely proved that he is still the man. 100%. He won 34-32. Justin Fields, also not a bad showing. Who would have thought him and Daniel Jones would be 1 and 2 for fantasy football quarterbacks? Daniel, the one thing I did like a lot about Justin Fields is that they really utilize his running ability in this game, especially now it's like him, Breece Hall, and as well as Allen with that running game. And also that opens up your game with Garrett as well, too, with Wilson. But the Steelers, all their new inquiries really showed out this game as well, too. So I would say good showing. I mean, Jalen Ramsey, there was a lot of beef going on, and him doing the final stop of the game really shows that this Steelers team is in it to win it this year.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers post-game reporter asks him, how do you feel after winning against this Jets organization, Aaron Glenn, that refused to even talk about bringing you back next year? And all he said was, I am very happy to beat anybody associated with the Jets organization. So
Amen.
Very good for him. We'll move on. The Jaguars beat the Panthers 26-10. Trevor Lawrence, 178 yards, a touchdown and a pick. But the star of this game is Travis Etienne, 16 carries, 143 yards. Great day for him. On the other side of the ball, not so much. Bryce Young with 2 picks. What do you make?
Bryce Young, all his progress he made at the end of the season after getting benched has literally been nullified. Now, we kind of picked him as like the un-MVP. Same thing with Dave Canales. Like we were not looking too high on this, but it seems that Travis Hunter is going to be full-time wide receiver, part-time cornerback this year.
It certainly does. 6 catches, 33 yards. Down in the Bayou, the Saints took on the Arizona Cardinals, 20-13. The final, the Cardinals win. Kyler Murray, 21-29, 163 yards and 2 scores. On the other side of the ball, Alvin Kamara, 45 yards and a score. Marvin Harrison Jr. catches a touchdown. What do you make of this?
Kyler Murray starting off really strong. He was 21 for 29, 2 scores, but you kind of felt like you just wanted them to dominate a really bad Saints team. This Saints team is arguably across the board by a lot of people, probably not going to win more than 5 games at best this year, 2 for me. And I just kind of wish the Cardinals would have won at least by like 30 or more on this game, but a win is a win for them.
Commanders take on their division rival, the Giants, and they come out victorious 21-6. Jaden Daniels, 233 yards and a score. Ja'Cory Cross-Gamera, kind of a preseason superstar, 10 carries, 82 yards and a score. Deebo Samuel, 7s across the board, 7 catches, 77 yards. Russell Wilson, not a great day, 17 for 37, 168 yards, but he was their leading rusher with 44 yards on 8 carries. The Giants are they're in for a painful season, I think.
Oh yeah. Their first 4 games of the season are absolutely bad. They're going to play the Eagles, they're going to play the Chargers, and they're going to play the Chiefs. They're going to probably start 0-4. That offensive line for the Giants is a huge concern. And for the Commanders, what a great addition that Deebo Samuel has been, also getting a rushing touchdown on 1 rushing attempt for 19 yards. The Commanders are looking to challenge the Eagles for the NFC East this year.
Yep. Okay. NFC South goes down to the wire. The Buccaneers and the Falcons. Bucs come up victorious 23-20 after a missed field goal from Younghoe Koo. Baker Mayfield, 3 touchdowns. Michael Penix Jr. in his week 1 debut, 27-42, 298 yards and a touchdown. Bijan Robinson, 6 catches, 100 yards and a score. Your rookie of the year pick, Emeka Egbuka, 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bucs win 23-20.
Doesn't matter who Baker Mayfield's offensive coordinator is. The dude is just a straight up winner. On top of that, this is a game that the Falcons are going to look back this season and hope that they won. Bucs get themselves a solid road win within the division.
Yeah, for sure. Big win for the Bucs. They established early dominance in the division. Bengals and Browns took place. Classic AFC North rock fight. Neither team scores over 20. Bengals come up victorious 17-16. Joe Burrow, 14 of 23, 113 yards and a touchdown. Joe Flacco, 31-45, 290, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Anything notable out of this one?
Myles Garrett almost getting 3 sacks in 3 plays in a row, getting 2 on back-to-back. Surprisingly, the offenses on both these teams are very inept. You would have never thought that the Bengals would be coming out being this low-scoring game. For all those who drafted Jamar Chase in round 1 or also the number 1 overall pick in fantasy, you're probably a little bit upset on this first game performance, but at the same time, it's just week 1. It's an in-division opponent. I'm sure they're going to bounce back.
The Raiders travel to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots. They emerged victorious in the first year of Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, 20-13. Geno, 24 of 34, 362, a touchdown and a pick. Drake May on the other side of the ball, big year for him, 30 of 46, 287, a touchdown and a pick. Kayshon Boutte, 6 catches, 103 yards. Brock Bowers, 5 catches, 103 yards. What's your takeaway?
Pete Carroll, one of the only coaches to get a win as a new head coach. Him and Liam Cohen joined that squad for week 1 wins for coaches. Geno Smith is looking like a stud with this offense with Chip Kelly out there. And Brock Bowers is going to be tied at number 1 by the end of the season.
49ers and Seahawks, another game that went down to the wire. 49ers emerged victorious 17-13. Our locks do not age well. Brock Purdy 26-35, 277, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Christian McCaffrey 69 yards in his bounce back game. 2 receivers went off today. Ricky Pearsall 4 catches, 108 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba 9 catches, 124 yards. Sam Darnold, kind of a mediocre pedestrian debut for him. 16 of 23, 150 yards. No picks, but they did have the crucial fumbles at the end. So what do you make of this NFC West slugfest?
49ers get a solid road victory. Winning in Seattle is never easy. Ricky Pearsall really emerging of themselves. Looking like Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel will not be missed so far. But they did lose. Injuries did sneak up on them again. Their big weapon on offense went down, and he did not return to the game after he got hurt. And I believe that it's going to be their tight end.
George Kittle.
Yep, George Kittle, which started the game off really strong. Plus, he's third in 49ers history in touchdowns. I would have never guessed that. But yeah, strong win. Yep, it would be Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and then him.
Huh.
So, yeah, I would go with the 49ers getting a great road victory for them. But at the same time, Seahawks have a lot to be happy about going forward with that offense with Sam Darnold.
Cameron Ward kind of has an impressive debut, but just comes up short to the Broncos 20-12. Cam Ward, 12 of 28, 112 yards. Doesn't quite tell the whole story. I thought he looked fairly decent for a rookie playing behind that O-line, but the Broncos just kind of smothered him. Bo Nix, 25 of 40, 176 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. RJ Harvey has a really impressive debut, 6 carries for 70 yards. And Cortland Sutton, 61, and a score. Cam Ward's debut. Broncos emerged victorious. What do you think?
Good, solid, gritty win for the Broncos. They definitely needed that. But Cam Ward against a really good defense looked absolutely nice against that defense. I mean, you wish you convert all those field goals into touchdowns. Then we're talking about that's how they would end up winning. But it's going to be a long season for the rookie, especially behind that offensive line.
The Packers, Micah Parsons' debut. They stomp the Lions. 27-13. You'd think that this was a 2014 Aaron Rodgers-led offense, but nope. It's Jordan Love, 16 of 22, 188 yards, and 2 scores. Josh Jacobs as well, 19 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Jared Goff, 31-39, 225, touchdown, and a pick. Their leading rusher is David Montgomery, 11 carries for 25 yards. Sam Laporta, their leading receiver, 6 for 79. Are the Packers back as the front runner for this NFC North?
What I'm looking at is Jared Goff is very accurate as a quarterback, but no run game. That is going to be the biggest issue going forward for the Lions. And on top of that, this Packers defense is showing up. The big concern we had with them was their secondary, but Josh Jacobs getting 8 touchdowns in a row. So 8 touchdowns. So he averaged 8 games in a row with a touchdown. Been very consistent up there in Green Bay. Has been a very underrated signing for them.
All right, last game of the window. The Rams take on the Texans in SoFi. It's a rock fight, and the Rams emerge victorious. Matthew Stafford, 21 of 29, 245, and a touchdown. Kyren Williams, 66 yards and a touchdown. CJ Stroud, 19 of 27, 108 yards, and a pick. This one was physical.
Yep. Texans have an elite defense, but the big concern with the Texans was 2 things entering this offseason: offensive line and play calling. We still have those concerns with the Texans, it seems like. And CJ Stroud is not looking good alongside that heralded 2023 NFL quarterback draft class. Him, Anthony Richardson, and Bryce Young, all very much disappointing since they've been drafted. The Rams getting a solid win. It was not a pretty win, but they got the job done, especially going to be inside that tough division out there in the NFC West. But a lot more questions than answers that we have for the Texans.
All right, and that's your quick recap. The Bills are up on the Ravens 7-3 as we speak now. Where do you want to start?
Obviously, let's kick things off with the Eagles and Cowboys. I think we'll just go game by game on that one. For me, the Eagles, just a well-rounded team. And yes, you are going to have players like A.J. Brown not go off because other players are going off. Same like Dallas Goedert was really solid for the Eagles that game. Jalen Hurts had a really good rushing game. So there's a lot of mouths that you got to feed on that offense. So it doesn't surprise me if AJ Brown goes off, but Saquon Barkley doesn't. I'll be surprised like if Devontae Smith goes off, but Dallas Goedert doesn't. They have set up this team very well to attack NFL defenses so many different ways. And that's kind of like a great position why both me and you believe that they could return back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. I was really impressed with the Cowboys' fight. They never lied down. They took an early lead, and they kept up through every punch that if Philly had to offer, the Cowboys matched. At some point, the talent just was too much to bear. There was a distinct coaching advantage as well. I know that nobody's really high on Nick Sirianni as an X's and O's guy, but I just think like through that organization, the coaching is a little better. But the Cowboys, I thought, for a Micah Parsons-less defense, for a team that should be in the dumps, didn't quit, and they're going to be a harder opponent to beat than we thought going into this week.
Oh yeah, I think only holding them to 24 points, especially that offense, you would have thought also losing Micah Parsons and stuff like that would have been a huge concern that they were going to attack them, especially on the pass rush. But it seems that they only made it a one-score game. Now, granted, the big talking point, kind of like how I mentioned, was the CeeDee Lamb drops, the crucial drops that he had in those games in that moment. And despite that, a lot of people are like, oh, this is the old CeeDee. And I'm like, y'all know he still caught 7 catches for 110 yards. Like, he still went off. Like, and especially having George Pickens, like, that is going to do nothing but be really good for Dak. And how me and you talked about, ultimately, this trade is going to be graded upon how well the Cowboys are actually going to look without Micah Parsons, and the fact that most of their wins are going to come from Dak and how he performs. And due to 2 unfortunate drops by CeeDee Lamb, they were in this game all the way to the very end.
Yeah, no, certainly. Javonte Williams also had a pretty impressive bounce back for his career. Desperately needed.
100%, yes. And then going on to the Friday game, we had the Chargers against the Chiefs. Chargers getting a very, very good win against the Chiefs. The Chiefs going down 0-1 in this division is great for the rest of the division because everybody else won. Broncos won, Raiders won, Chargers won. And Chargers are definitely especially happy because, especially after last year, our big concern we had with Justin Herbert was, when is he going to take that elite level step, especially with Harbaugh? And this game, he absolutely showed it. He made a almost potential bust in their wide receiver from TCU look good. He got 2 touchdowns that game. And Ladd McConkey is absolutely solid. The run game is nice. Hampton is a really good
Keenan
player.
Allen is not washed, apparently.
Oh, exactly. Somehow he just took a vacation with the Bears and came back just as good as he was when he was with the Chargers. And also the fact that the Chargers defense closing out, only giving the Chiefs 21 points. That sounds like a very solid Chargers defense for them to do that. Derwin James, they lost Bosa, but they have Khalil Mack still, and Khalil Mack looks like an ageless wonder over there in that defense.
Yeah, sure, certainly. 27-21 out in Brazil. They get a big win. The Colts debut with Daniel Jones, 33-8. We look like we're vindicated with with the Dolphins maybe being the worst team in football this year.
Yeah, this is the type of loss that you definitely don't want with that type of culture. Both me and you already discussed that.
On eggshells.
Yes, they needed to win by a lot. Like, they needed to win this game, and they also had to show some type of promise that, okay, this offseason BS wasn't that big of a concern. To be scoreless all the way, I believe, until the 4th quarter, right? Like, they were getting literally shut out by, yes, the Colts defense, I would say maybe it's top half of the league on paper, but it's nothing to write home about, especially when you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Tua. There is no reason that you should be putting up 0 points against that defense. And on top of that, too, the Colts offense so multidimensional. You have Pittman, you have Pierce, you have Warren, who went off this game. You have also their running game is back. Their offensive line played solid. And the fact that Daniel Jones run for 2 touchdowns as well, too. They are looking – this is what they wanted to look like with Anthony Richardson. And I think with Daniel Jones playing smarter and not harder and making the right throws and making the right decisions is going to go a very long way for this Colts team. And they may be looking like the AFC South champs right there with this team, especially with this impressive
but
win.
with the Texans looking as unimpressive as they were,
Mm-hmm.
with the Jaguars very, I mean, you can
Very
say
mid.
lukewarm kind of win.
Yes.
Doing what they're supposed to. And the Titans, I mean, kept up with Denver. Who knows if that's a slow Denver start or a hot Tennessee start.
Mm-hmm.
The Colts, you got to look at them like, oh, they're in business. At least for AFC South standards.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, like going back to about the culture thing with the Dolphins, like Colts also had a culture problem with last year with Anthony Richardson doing the tap out. This is what you would want to see if your culture was on eggshells or there was any questions about your culture. It's a solid team win where every facet of your team won. So special teams, you had defense and offense clicking on all cylinders, and not just passing offense, running offense, rush defense, pass defense. So the Colts probably have like the best, to me, A+ grade for them on this victory.
My guy Zach Wilson saw some playing time too. 5 for 8, 32 yards. Could happen. Anything can happen any given Sunday, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's next? We have the Steelers and the Jets. The Steelers coming out victorious 35-32, ending on maybe like the most physical final play I've ever seen. Jalen Ramsey putting Garrett Wilson in the dirt on a 4th down ball. Just super impressive. Aaron Rodgers looks as good as ever with 4 touchdowns. Not in garbage time. Like that dude played well. And the Jets do what the Jets do. They start out 0-1.
Yep. Aaron was surrounded by a good group of leaders that wasn't just him. I think the biggest issue he had when he was with the Jets is he had to be the ipso facto guy every single time in a very volatile, like toxic place that is the New York Jets. And where their head coach, they had a guy who was a teenager running the team as GM. Like it was the Jets owner, all this other BS that was coming with the Jets. Like when you have a toxic environment, that tends to lead to losses. Where if you have those type of problems and you have Watt, you have Hayward, you have guys who have won in this league. Also, Mike Tomlin is he tends to have a very good locker room. And plus, he's never had a losing season since he's been in the NFL as a head coach. And that's where that's the difference between how they won this game compared to how they would have lost this game. Like they would have lost this game if they did not have a tight locker room. They won this game because guys like Jalen Ramsey, who they brought in, won them the game. Guys like Cameron Hayward stepping up after getting paid today. He also got $18 million essentially extension as well too. Paying all these guys. DK even looked nice with them. And Austin's a very underrated guy for that wide receiver core as well too for them, and Skoranek as well too. Don't be surprised that all the other guys that you are unheard of. Same with Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith also looked very impressive with Rodgers coming in with that package deal with Ramsey and sending over Micah Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins. And I just think that was a super solid win, and Aaron Rodgers proven that he's still playing at an MVP, above average to Pro Bowl level starting quarterback play.
Totally agreed. I don't have too much to add.
If you want to talk about Jets, it would be that if their offense sticks to this plan of heavy rushing and using essentially 3 running backs with Fields,
use all your tools. Yeah.
Yes, like I love that idea for the Jets. I think that is you can steal a win within division. They're going to beat the brakes off of Miami at home and away from home, seeing what I just saw. And that helps open up that passing game with Wilson. But I think with the lack of offensive line that they have, using Justin Fields' legs and their 2 rushing attacks like that, and Breece Hall is a legitimate offensive weapon and also in the catching game. Like, that is a good plan to have forward with them. I think they have a little bit more positives to have on their offense. Defensively, I mean, they are still a little bit struggling. Sauce Gardner's not returning to form that he had his rookie year.
No, not at all. Okay. the garbage, the tomato can game of the week, the Jaguars and the Panthers. 26-10, the Jaguars win. If you watch this game and you're not a Jaguars Panthers fan, I think you're entitled to financial compensation. I can't imagine that this was at all entertaining for anybody.
No, it was a game that I was kind of focusing on a lot because, seeing Trevor Lawrence, seeing he does need to step up this year. This is a huge make or break year for him. Hunter as well too, and then just seeing how this young Jaguars team is going to perform. Before the weather delay, they were not looking good. I was like, this is a really bad game on both ends. Like, it was 3-3, 10-3, and I was just like, godly, like, there's no offense on either side of these, and this is going to be a very boring game. Like, it's not like the Panthers' defense is nice. It's not like the Jaguars' defense is at elite level to be holding this inept offense that it is the Panthers to like that. But then once the delay came back, Brian Thomas scored a touchdown. ETN went off. And then that defense for the Jaguars kind of showed its youth and showed that it's ready to step up in big times. I mean, the big takeaway is the force feeding of Travis Hunter. 6 catches is a lot of catches for a rookie. And also the fact that he's kind of, you would say, 75% of the time he's a wide receiver and 25% of the time he's a DB. And 6 catches, like I was taking him on Prize Picks to get a touchdown. I was fully convinced that they were trying to get Duval as hyped as that, but Liam Coleman gets a win. A win is a win, and that's a good start for his career. Only 1 out of 2 coaches, him and Pete Carroll, like I mentioned, both getting victories as new head coaches for week 1. All the other coaches lost. New head coaches everywhere else in the NFL lost.
Yeah, I wish I had more for you on this game. Besides, ETN might not be as washed up as we might have thought.
Yeah, and I mean, if you really want to talk about the Panthers, I mean, Bryce Young literally eliminated all his progress he made last year. Like, that is,
looks like the same old guy.
We are back in the conversation of what are we doing here? Like, y'all traded up with the Bears to get him number 1 overall, and it is really biting y'all in the ass for this. And Tet, 1 catch for 11 yards. And the most notable play is because it happened against Hunter. Other than that, there's no wide receivers here. There wasn't, even when Thielen was there. Like, it's going to be a long season for the Panthers. They're probably looking back at picking number 1 overall again, or in that realm of a top 5 pick. And now we're having a discussion. What do you do with Bryce Young?
Yep. And speaking of teams that are contending for the number 1 overall pick, the New Orleans Saints took an L to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, this Kyler Murray, I know you were harping on him that it needs to be our make or break here for him. He did start off strong. Yeah, good start though. I would kind of hope that they would beat the brakes out of the Saints, especially the fact that they have nothing literally to gain for this year. And they are just throwing the ball. They don't really care because, I mean, their starting quarterback had like so many. Rattler had like I think like almost in the 40s in passing attempts.
46.
Yeah, you are slinging the rock all the time. And the Saints are just going to be in contention for the number 1 overall pick this year. Their team is not really well equipped. And the fact that their new rookie head coach, he gets a free season just to deal with this garbage. But you would just hope the Cardinals, you would think that based on paper, they would score at least more than 20 points. They have a good running game. They have a great tight end. They have Marvin Harrison stepping up to be the billing of what we all thought he was going to be last year. But remember, he did kind of have a slow start last year, but then he popped off 1 game, and then there was nothing to be seen after that. But
great start for Kyler.
Mm-hmm. Good start for them.
And good start for Marvin Harrison Jr., 71 yards and touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Showing a little bit of dog. Okay, where are we? We are at the Commanders and Giants. 21-6. Not great.
No, it was for the Giants. No, like, it was bad. I mean, the fact that Russell Wilson was your number 1 rushing threat.
When your quarterback is your leading rusher and your name's not Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen, Kyler Murray even, you're in trouble.
Yeah, when it's Russell Wilson, like, yeah, it's a big concern. That offensive line is trash. It is really bad. On top of that, too, their offensive weapons really didn't. But also, when you have an offensive line, you're not protecting as long. And that Commanders defense is legit, though. It is a solid team. It's probably going to be in the top half in the league because how talented they are, especially having Deron Payne there, too. They have a great linebacking core out there as well. And also, Dan Quinn knows how to coach good defenses. He's a great defensive minded head coach. The big one is the fact that, even though Scary Terry got all paid all that money, I mean, Debo Samuel showed up this game and giving Jaden Daniels another offensive weapon, that is definitely what you need with a young quarterback. And for him to step up and to score and to provide all those yards to set them up in scoring position, that's going to be really good. But me and you kind of predicted about the Giants having a very, very rough start to the season, and it does not get any easier. This was probably, what would you rate this after week one compared to their upcoming opponents, which is the Eagles, Chargers, and Chiefs? This was probably their most
This is the
winnable
easy
game.
end. This is the easy end.
Yeah, this was their most winnable game. And for them to only do 6 points and look as poor as they did offensively, it's going to be a very long season.
I will say 21 points out of the Commanders, a team that was just in the NFC Championship game. You want better. You want better than that.
Mm-hmm. You do. That would the only negative aspect I would say, yeah, about the Commanders is you kind of wish they would won like 35 to like 10 or something like that, or at least get to the 30s.
They needed more points.
Mm-hmm.
But they had fucking 432 yards total on the day, so
yeah,
not a bad day. Bengals and Browns. God damn, the slugfests are just piling up.
Yeah, it's very much week one. Defenses are really showing up here. I mean, if you thought the Jags and Panthers game was boring, this one was boring too.
Yeah, guys like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and they can only muster 17 points against this Cleveland defense. Like you said, Joe Burrow got sacked 3 plays in a row, 2 of them by Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the game, and also the fact that Joe Flacco has as many passing attempts as he almost is as old as he is. 45, and he's like what, in his 40s now?
Yep.
Like, that is a lot of attempts for that team. And it was just not, they have no, well, mind you too, the Browns have no rushing attack.
Nope.
At all.
Quinshon Judkins did sign a contract. He's got like a 2-week roster exemption. So he could play eventually. Just throwing it out there. Maybe that'll help things, but there was no run game to be found for Cleveland.
No, and barely a passing game. I mean, Judy, yes. I mean, I believe, 18, 19 for him, the other wide receiver that they have there.
Cedric Tillman.
Yep. Wasn't too bad. And Njoku was a non-factor, I believe, in this game. But the Bengals, the biggest one is, excuse me.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, first day back in football. But the Bengals, I mean, godly, Chase and Burrow, just like, it's a win, but like, you're not impressed by this win at all. To win just by 1 point against a Browns team.
Well, I am impressed that they won week one.
Yes, this is a game that it does say they lost written all over it. Like, it looks like they would have lost like 20-17, 19-17. So I would say it's a very solid win. The fact that they got a win is a plus, but outside of that, it wasn't pretty.
Speaking of solid wins, the Las Vegas Raiders travel to Foxborough, take on the Mike Vrabel Patriots, and they win in Foxborough 20-13. The game was really 20-10. Patriots kicked a field goal to try to set up the onside kick. Didn't work out. 20-13. Read this how you will. I don't want to expose our biases here, but this game was heavily invested in.
Oh, yes. But I would say all around wise, it is still, I mean, Pete Carroll has been in this league, has been incredibly successful in this league. And to bring in Geno Smith, a guy that he trusts, a guy that he made lead the league in not only passing completion, but also yards when he was at Seattle. He brings in a guy like Chip Kelly, who just won a national championship at Ohio State, gets their first round running back who looked like a stud. And I was always a little bit concerned with the Raiders on the wide receivers, because especially like, you have tight ends, you have Michael Mayer, and you also have Brock Bowers. But
No, I said that I don't think the receivers on this team are something to write home about.
and
Uh, and
yeah, and
Jacoby
then also
Myers and Trey Tucker and Dante Thornton all had really good days.
yep, and what mostly Geno Smith. I mean, over 300 yards passing, look phenomenal. And but that's kind of like what you're expecting with as a if you're following the Raiders, that with his completion percentage being that high, and the fact that Brock Bowers looked absolutely like a stud this game too. He really tore up the middle of the field. Same thing with also utilizing Meyer. So that means like you really don't need an elite wide receiver, especially the game plan that you have with Geno Smith with this offense. I think it's a very well-rounded. Well, for the Patriots, I mean, I think eventually down the line you're gonna dot your I's and cross your T's with some of this. It is still week one. Most oftentimes than not, I always say that the first 4 weeks of the NFL season is the true preseason. Teams that won today may have a losing record. Teams that lost today may end up going to the playoffs. We truly don't know. I think only losing by, I mean,
7.
it was 7, but it was really 10 throughout the game. Still a little bit on the positive note on that because remember, Drake May is literally his only second year and he has a new offense around him. I think the only concern would be like who's your true weapon on your offense,
They don't have one.
and that would be the big concern with this young quarterback is that you kind of need a dude
Well,
to
they
be.
do have one. His name is 6th-round pick Kayshon Boutte.
Yeah,
6
he is.
catches, 103 yards.
He is. He's looking like a stud, but it was kind of like you kind of need like an elite level guy. Like if you were to get, not really necessarily like if Debo Samuel was there, that's at least a consistent dude. Or like when Terry McLaurin was out
Well,
there
that's
with
what
trade
Stephon
talks.
Diggs was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
But
mean?
also outside of the early performance with the Texans last year, Stephon Diggs was not Stephon Diggs no more. Like once he went to the Texans, you kind of knew that the Bills Stephon Diggs, late Vikings Stephon Diggs was over with.
We knew this was going to happen, but King Henry is alive and well.
Yeah, King Henry is out here still doing king things.
But
Your
can I
rushing
get my
attack,
2 cents on the Patriots?
yeah, go ahead.
The improvements that they needed to make were not visible today. They still can only score. They can only muster 1 touchdown a game. They couldn't move the ball efficiently at all. The rookie kicker sucks. If listen, Mike Vrabel probably not Mike Vrabel. Gerard Mayo probably loses this game 20-0.
Yes.
Mike Vrabel, he might not be the coaching bump that we thought. And like I said at the end of the preseason, going into the regular season, I didn't really like the vibes coming out of Foxborough with the way that they transitioned from preseason to regular season, and I think that played out today. Drake May 30 for 46, 287, a touchdown and a pick. The pick was very weird to say the least. But no, I didn't see the improvements that you want to see if you're a Patriots fan, and it could be a week 1 overreaction. But I think there's a really strong chance that the Patriots, they're not a winning record team this year.
And as of right now, while you said that, Lamar Jackson just rushed in for a touchdown, so they are up 17-7 against the Bills. So they're rushing
pending this PAT, but you got to assume.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think, but there's still a lot. I think if you were to tell me that this is a 13-point like difference compared to Gerard Mayo, because I agree with you. I think you may have not even gotten a touchdown if Gerard Mayo was your head coach with this team, which the Raiders are a legitimate team. Like if the Raiders were
vastly improved to last year.
And that's what I think that's a little bit more of the positive on that is the fact that like this is a game that Gerard Mayo would have if you would have said, we have unbelievable offensive concerns because y'all didn't put any like legitimate points. I think Drake May still throwing for almost 300 yards is a super positive thing about that. Cause like your sophomore year is probably one of the most important years as a young quarterback. For instance, 3 guys that we talked about who had really bad sophomore years or regressed, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Bryce Young. Like their sophomore seasons were really bad. and or lack thereof, and where I think Drake May is going to have a really good step up, and y'all going to win some games that you would have easily lost last year with this squad.
That's the bare minimum. But does that lead to the 10 wins that I said in the preseason? I don't know.
Well, you're going to get 2 off the rip from the Dolphins. It seems like.
I'll believe we beat the Dolphins in Miami when we see it. But the last time we beat them, they were in similar horrible fashion. Like that was 2019, where like it was the Antonio Brown game when we had him for a couple of seconds.
The rookie though from Ohio State looked really nice. Though.
Henderson looked like a real weapon. They stuck with Stevenson too long through the game. He just doesn't have it anymore.
That was also, I would say, the bigger concern was the commitment to Stevenson for as long as they did when the rookie looked that good. I was just like,
even Gibson looked really good in comparison.
Yeah, I would say Ramondre Stevenson is now third string. I would say
he should be. We'll see how that goes. All right, Niners and Seahawks. Our boy Sam Darnold's debut as a Seattle Seahawk didn't quite go how we wanted it to. Brock Purdy, 26 to 35, 277, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. What do you make of this game?
Despite losing Kittle early on, they still persevered. Biggest takeaway, the kicking game for this 49ers is going to cost them so many.
This is awful.
This is one of the worst kicking performances I have ever seen. Their special teams is horrendous. And
it always is.
Yeah. Like their commitment to this pick of Moody is going to be the detriment of this team's success this year. I'm good for Ricky Pearsall stepping up. I would have not expected him to make the jump that he did this year. Good for them. I mean, Christian McCaffrey also was like a little bit of a last minute clearance because he had a calf issue coming in, but also Robinson didn't look too bad also with that offense. But the injury concerns are coming back right again. We already had CMC get a little bit of injury concern. The fact that Kittle had an injury concern as well too, but solid win to win in Seattle. Was a game that they probably had no business winning, especially if I were to tell you, oh, George Kittle's going to get injured this game, like, and the 49ers kicking game is going to be unbelievably bad, you would have probably been like, oh, the Seattle Seahawks are probably going to come up on top on this.
Well, but NBC Sports is reporting that George Kittle and Jawan Jennings are going to have MRIs this week. So,
yeah,
and they hope to sign Kendrick Bourne.
There we go.
That'll fix it.
But no, I think you have a lot more positive things to say about for Seattle than you do with the 49ers. 49ers are
no, the offense wasn't totally dysfunctional. They just need to finish drives.
Yes, it's a solid C, but I just need to see you finish. Like Cooper Kupp, very lackluster first game for him. He's only going to get better. Same thing with Darnold with this offense. They have a good rushing attack with those 2 running backs.
Charbonnet and Walker. Yeah.
Yep.
Walker was kind of a dud through most of the game, but Charbonnet did have the touchdown.
Yep. And then on top of that, too, you also have JSN is looking really good. He's
like a true wide receiver one.
Yep. There's a reason why they moved on from DK and Lockett for Kupp and him. I think they have a lot to be positive about over there. Just a solid win for the 49ers to win away at Seattle. It's a tough place to win.
Speaking of tough places to win, Mile High Stadium, Denver versus Tennessee. Denver came out victorious for guy Cam Ward. Kind of the stat sheet you feel really doesn't tell the whole story.
If you watch that game, you would be vastly impressed by a lot of people, a sneaky Super Bowl team. And also
it's everybody's sneaky Super Bowl team. At one point, does it not? No more. At what point does it not become sneaky?
Right. And on top of that, too, the fact that it's in Mile High Stadium, that's a very good defense. And that defense closed out the game for them. The Titans have a really long way to go off for their offensive line. I think Pollard looked nice, though. I'm liking what they're doing with offense, especially outside of Ridley. I'm thinking Cam Ward is making those guys look good, which is good signs for what a franchise quarterback is supposed to do. These other guys, and we have no idea about, Cam Ward is making them passing the ball to make them get open and look good. Eventually, him and Ridley are going to have a connection, and then when he's not getting locked up by Patrick Surtain in that defense, they are going to look nice.
The Packers kicked the shit out of the Lions 27-13. The score does not tell the whole story.
Oh,
This was like
no.
this was a 3-4 possession game through the entirety of it.
This felt like the Packers won 48-10.
This felt like 2015 Aaron Rodgers led Packers.
Yeah. And it was like 09 led like pre-Matthew Stafford Lions. This offense was inept, to say the least. No rushing attack, and that really was a big identity for what the Detroit Lions like to do offensively, especially with Gibbs, especially with Montgomery. Like how that opens up a whole lot of stuff, especially with Sam Laporta at tight end and the new paid wide receiver.
Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams, who I did not realize was a 1,000-yard receiver last year when I sent you that text. But still, for one good year, I'm not paying him 3/83. Not happening.
That was, and was it 67 mil guaranteed as something well like too? Yeah. It's they're suffering a lot from their losing their coordinators. They are. And we are going to see, especially against the Bears and Vikings game, whether or not that's going to be a good thing for the Bears or a all-around bad thing. That Ben Johnson isn't a good head coach, and the Lions miss him. But, also for Aaron Glenn, giving up 34 points for that Steelers offense is not a good look if you're a defensive coach.
No.
So if the Bears lose tomorrow, that's a big loss for all of Detroit-ish, like offseason. Micah Parsons got a sack this game. They utilized him all over the place, and him and Rashawn Gary and Van Ness look good.
I know for sure. Packers seem to be the early favorites for the NFC North.
Mm-hmm. And Josh Jacobs is so solid. Such a good player.
Last but not least, the Houston Texans lose to the Los Angeles Rams 14-9.
Jesus, dude. Texans have an elite defense and is going to be pissed away because their offense and their offensive line. Like, they really, if they were scoring touchdowns, if you converted that to 3 different touchdowns, so up 21, and they would have, the Rams probably don't score as much. And that, like Henry Tua, or their middle linebacker, number 39, he's an ex-Tennessee guy. He looks really solid. You also got their first-round pick, and Anderson looking really solid. Derek Stingley went out for a little bit, came back, looked unbelievable as well, too. Petrie.
No, they took it to maybe the best coached offense in football.
Mm-hmm. And they look solid. The Texans, if I tell you their defense really stepped up against this Rams team and held them to 14 points, you would have assumed that they won.
They probably won, yeah.
But Nico, no offensive wide receivers were atrocious this game. They're running back.
Higgins was their leading receiver, 2 catches, 32 yards.
There you go. And mind you, this is also a make or break year relatively of CJ Stroud. He has regressed since his rookie year. He has gotten
not
worse.
What you want to see out of the early steps.
And the biggest excuse that was made for CJ Stroud, for all CJ Stroud believers, was his offensive play call and his offensive line was bad.
Well, now, same case here.
Yeah. Okay. Same paragraph, different font. What is the excuse now? Is it still offensive line and play calling is bad, or are we seeing a regression from the quarterback?
And again, the Rams are a tough defense themselves.
Yes, they are.
Very young, very physical, very underrated unit. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to really be focused on the Texans throughout the season. Like, okay, give them a softer matchup. They got a soft division between the Jaguars and the Titans and the Colts. Like, well, maybe they're a little better than we thought because they all kind of had solid games, but I don't know. I don't know if all that's sustainable, and maybe there's a bounce back waiting, but they have to wait. The Texans will have to wait till next week when they play the Bucs. Ooh,
yeah. But when that was also a game we missed on was the Buccaneers and Falcons.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's a good thing you mentioned them. The fun stat that I texted you while that was gone, the last 3 seasons, Baker Mayfield has led the NFL in touchdowns with 69. Nice. But the past 8 years, he has had 8 different offensive coordinators. And that does not have a recipe for success, but yet Baker Mayfield has been successful. The Browns ultimately that is the worst decision of all time, is to let him go. And he has made everybody pay. He's also a guy that you do not need to give him a bigger chip on his shoulder.
Nope.
You do not. He already is very determined. He's already a very strong candidate to be in MVP level conversations. And my dude, Double E, because I don't know how to pronounce his name,
Emeka Egbuka
has been an absolute stud, winning them the game right there. 2 touchdowns to start things off. I mean, when you have 3 solid receivers on that team as well, and then they have a 2-headed rushing attack once that gets going as well too, and a solid win that they needed against the Falcons in Atlanta, a good divisional win to start off the year, and in that division where the Buccaneers, me and you picked them to cakewalk it, where the Panthers suck. The Falcons were their biggest threat.
and then start off behind the ball.
Exactly. And now
yeah.
down. Big thing, Penix looks really good for the Falcons. Penix, Drake London as well too. Pitts is looking very solid in this offense as well too.
Bijan.
Bijan is a stud, bro. Over 100 at 100 exactly. Receiving yards, multifaceted offense. They could do so many things because like they're just so like big everywhere. They have big receivers, they have a big running back, and they can do so much different things with this offense. And I think they have a lot to look forward to. You have a lot more positives outside of their kicking game. Out of this game, especially compared to like the Saints and the Panthers, have nothing but question marks and concerns with their losses. Like the Panthers just needed I needed something else out of Bryce Young. 10 points is hot garbage for a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah. All right. Those are your long form kind of matchups. We have a segment here with something on your desk there that you want to go over. So let's introduce it to the fine people.
So this is sticky notes. So for those who follow the NBA on TV with Shaq, Charles, Kenny, and Ernie Johnson, what they would do is usually like they'll say like a crazy thing like, "Oh, I'll predict that the Lakers end up with the number 1 seed in the West" or something like that at this week. So what me and Caleb are going to do is week by week when we do these Sunday instant reaction videos, we are going to write down the week, the person who said this, and then the hot take essentially. But it's not really a hot take. It's more like an instant reaction because how we think about these teams today.
Yeah, was it an overreaction?
Is going to be a little bit different how we do the Tuesday podcast when we do this really fully in depth of the NFL, going over the winners and losers, our power rankings, and then on top of that, previewing week 2 for the NFL. So would you like me or you to kick things off?
You kick things off. You have a lot of opinions.
Yes, I'm a very opinionated person. What I'm going to say is that the Colts are going to win the AFC South.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Colts. Look like a well-oiled machine. I think they are definitely going to have double-digit points. The fact that the rest of the division, I believe, outside of the Jaguars, lost, and your biggest competition is the Texans, and they lost week 1. And for you to get us all-around solid win against the Dolphins it'd be one thing if the Colts won like 17-3, but to win 33-8 against that offense and their defense to look nice. And Warren is a legitimate tight end. I'm going to go with the Colts are going to win the AFC South, and they'll probably win like 11 games this year.
I want you to write this date down to revisit it. November 30th, the Miami Dolphins host the New Orleans Saints. Zach Wilson will be a starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel will probably be fired by then, Thanksgiving week. They come off of that international trip against the Commanders. Tua looks awful. And in Mac Jonesian fashion, Tua will be benched and Zach Wilson will be the starting quarterback. That was week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think. I don't know when they have their bye week. Commanders versus Dolphins week.
Not Commanders.
Week 11. Commanders, Dolphins. Or the week after that, so week 12. Week 12.
Gotcha. So you have November 13th, Mike McDaniels will be fired. Zach
30th.
Wilson.
30th.
Yeah, 30th. Got you. Mike McDaniels will be fired. Zach Wilson will be starting quarterback for the Dolphins.
Yep. That's the vibe.
Gotcha. My week 1 was the Colts will win the AFC South with 11 wins. Gotcha. Let me put these sticky notes right behind me. We're gonna follow this along, people. Let's start from all the way. A little bit off camera. It's a little bit off.
A little bit, yeah. But we'll revisit.
We could do as many as you want.
Do I feel strongly about anything else?
I do. CJ Stroud, by the end of this year, we're going to look at the 2023 quarterback draft class as an all-time worst one.
Okay.
That's what I'll say, too. My week 1 also is going to be the 2023 draft class.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, does anything kind of stick out to me? Does anything really?
What about the Lions and Packers? How do you feel about them losing both coordinators? Do you think that's going to be entail of the rest of the year? Do you think like they only win like 9 games, 8 games?
Yeah. The Lions. I had them winning the division in the preseason. Now that's kind of flipped on its head. I'm sure I'll have more opinions after tomorrow night's game, but out of that one, like, I think the Packers are probably going to win that division.
Gotcha.
I don't think that's a hot take by any means, but it could be an overreaction, I guess.
Well, I mean, some people, there's some people think the Vikings were going to cakewalk this division. Some people thought that the Lions would just repeat and the Vikings would be the second best, and the Packers.
There were people who think that the Bears were going to like just have an immediate turnaround.
That division, to talk about it, was very much like, I don't know. There's so many narratives. Like, it's almost every one of their fan bases think that their team was going to win the division. Yeah. And I'm just like, more oftentimes than not, I think there's like maybe one true division winner. The only one, like, I'm expecting that narrative when it's the AFC West, when it's the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, and Broncos. I can almost legitimately see that argument outside of the Raiders that 3 of those teams could win the division. With the NFC North, I think it's just like, now I think it's only just one team, 1.5. I think it's either the Lions somehow magically bounce back, which I don't believe so, or the Packers just cakewalk this.
Yep, I don't see the Vikings winning the division as of right now because we don't know anything about that quarterback. And the quarterback, sorry to tell you, Vikings fans, the quarterback matters. Good quarterback matters.
Yep.
You can only win in the fashion that the Niners did today so much. Yeah, and you're starting to see the wheels come off over there. I'm sorry. If you took Brock Purdy with the 15th pick in the draft or the 11th pick, wherever you got JJ, that's not good enough.
Let me tell you this. There's a reason why Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. There's a reason behind that. Like, there's no, I don't.
Because he's not going to carry you to a Super Bowl. And why am I thinking that JJ McCarthy is going to do the same thing? I don't. We don't. We've buried this thing. We've hit the dead horse with the shovel over and over and over again. But it keeps kicking.
But to reiterate, I'm okay with people being upset if both me and you said that JJ McCarthy sucks. We did not say that. What we did say was, one, here's a fact. Has JJ McCarthy ever played a meaningful snap in the NFL yet?
No.
Okay. So then, has JJ McCarthy proven since high school at both IMG Academy at Michigan that he was the sole reason why they won games?
No.
All righty. So if I've seen
2 things that I feel like should play factual into your team's success.
So literal factual. So we took that information, we processed it, and we're like, okay, I have yet to see JJ McCarthy win a game that he be the reason why he won. Also, since JJ McCarthy's been in IMG Academy and now in the NFL, has he ever been the best player on his team?
No.
So when we're talking about elite level quarterbacks, Caleb, usually they are the best player on their team, correct?
When you're talking about first round pick quarterbacks, like you need to have one of those things. You don't have to be the best player on your team to be a first round pick quarterback, I don't think. You
Yeah,
have to say that you're the reason you won a game.
Mm-hmm.
To be successful in the league, like you have to be the reason that your offense
If you're drafted in the first round, whether it's 32 or
you are
first,
being drafted to change a franchise, to
whether
steer
it's,
them in the right direction, to keep them floating in the right direction in some cases.
or I would say, despite position, outside of a team drafting a kicker in the first round, even then I can have the argument that if you're being drafted in the first round, is because you are adding to a plus win total to that team. You are helping that team win a game. You are part of a reason why they are going to win a game. And if you were to look back, there's a reason why Jimmy G wasn't a first round pick. There's a reason why Brock Purdy wasn't a first round pick.
Derek
And
Carr.
I think,
If
yeah,
we
like,
want to give like respectable comps,
yes.
Derek Carr.
And to me was like, that's our reasoning behind what we said about JJ. Neither one of us, even in that video, said we never said that JJ was going to be a bust. We never said he can't do it. We just haven't seen him do it.
He's not bust proof.
Exactly.
Like you Vikings fans tell me.
So, and also I think you have to be an elite level quarterback to win a Super Bowl. I fully believe that only
it doesn't happen often.
And yeah, because the last time it happened was Trent Dilfer. And that was
so
led by,
you think Jalen Hurts is an elite level quarterback?
I think he's
there you go.
He's an all-pro, if that's the difference.
Maybe that's what you want to change it to.
I would say he's like,
you
right
can't win
there.
a Super Bowl if you can't be an all-pro quarterback.
Yeah, because I think, for instance, I would
There's
say
the clip.
yeah, I fully believe that. Like, I think you would have to. The Jalen Hurts situation is very different because he has been surrounded by unbelievable talented offensively and defensively, and I think that they just set him up for success in the best way possible.
So to play devil's advocate, have the Vikings not set up JJ McCarthy to have the most success possible?
Yes, they have, but I'm saying is the difference. I think so. The drop off, right? I think elite level and then all pro is like that. I think from all pro to Pro Bowler is a huge gap in difference in talent. We
use Pro Bowler, like we get bad teams, bad players, go to the Pro Bowl all the time. Tyler Huntley or whatever. The guys who get voted in there is what matters.
I mean, the bullshit of players just like, oh, I'm not going to the Pro Bowl, so there's a replacement player. Like, that's BS. If it's usually who got selected the first time around, and then that's who I take as a pro. Like, for instance, Matt Schaub went to the Pro Bowler because he was a replacement.
Tyler Huntley went to the Pro Bowl.
Thank you.
Mac Jones went to the Pro Bowl.
Like, that's why I mean by there's a difference between Pro Bowler and all pro player. And for me, you have to be an all-pro player to win a Super Bowl at quarterback. And your quarterback should probably be top 5 player on your team. Like, within that conversation.
Is Jalen Hurts a top 5 player on the Eagles?
Let's see. If you really want to break it down.
Jalen Carter.
Saquon Barkley's number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, you could probably argue like A.J. Brown.
I'd say that.
Yep. Okay. So after that, then you would go into like Jalen Carter if we're going to do like individual players. So that's 3. And then now you're in the realm of probably where Hurts is going to fall onto him. I mean, he's better than Devontae Smith. I would say that. Lane Johnson is probably number 4 because of how important he also is to the team. And he's an immensely talented player. And then I would probably say Jalen Hurts at 5. I wouldn't have a conversation with that because defensively, who else have they got there?
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, but the only time that Jalen Hurts wasn't probably a top 5 is when Kelsey was there at 7. Mm-hmm. Other than
Eagles
that,
depth chart. Let me look at the Eagles depth chart just to like list off some names. Lane Johnson, we said. Cam Jurgens, no. Mailata, no.
Mm-mm.
Jordan Davis.
No, because he works really well. The fact that he's partnered up with Jalen Carter,
kind of like Milton Williams.
Mm-hmm.
There's Jihad Campbell.
No.
Zadarius Smith. He's new there, right?
And even Zach Bond, who was like really like Zach Bond was a nice step up, but you would never say he's a top 5 player on his team. He just
Andrew
fits.
Makuba.
No.
Quinyon Mitchell.
No.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah. So
Yes,
Jalen Hurts is. So if you look at other elites, Patrick Mahomes is the best player on the Chiefs.
Yep.
Josh Allen
Josh Allen is the best player on the Bills. Lamar Jackson is at least the second best player on the Ravens, if you want to count.
So like
Derrick Henry.
you are exactly. So then what's other franchise players around
Joe
this
Burrow
league?
is at least a top 2 player. Him and Chase.
If not the best, yes, he's probably the number one player on that team. After that, then you have who else? Then you have
Herbert.
Herbert's probably he's the best player on the Chargers. You have so if you're gonna play devil's advocate, right, then they'll be like, oh, what about Bo Nix? It's like, well, Bo Nix can probably eventually be an all-pro. He's also his week 2. But he's also surrounded by a great team. Great teams set up their teams set up their teams for best success. You have to do that. The quarterback.
And the Vikings have done that.
Yeah. And neither one of me or you have ever said that they didn't do that. We said that they have. I just think it's absolutely absurd to think that JJ with no good resume, a notable NFL resume, is better than proven Kirk Cousins, who won with the Commanders, and with Sam Darnold, who looked decent with the Jets at times and looked good with the Panthers at the times. Then all of a sudden he is just somehow going to be better than those two guys with the Vikings. And really, the Vikings did set themselves up for him to have success. That's why I think the narrative is that you're putting a lot of pressure on a guy who's never been the number one player, the best player on his team ever. And I think for as long as he's going to be there, he's probably never going to be better than Jets. And that's fine because like every once in a while, Jamar Chase is better than Joe Burrow. That's cool. But I just don't see how this immensely talented Vikings team where JJ cracks the top 5 players on his team. And the big narrative we have is he a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Because ultimately you can win.
That's why you draft a quarterback in the first round.
You can win all the games you want, Caleb. But at the end of the day, if you don't win the Super Bowl, does those wins matter? No, they absolutely do not. Wins only matter if you win a Super Bowl. Because, for instance, how did the Patriots feel by going undefeated? They didn't win the Super Bowl. Who cares? Like
everybody forgets how good that team was.
My whole point is, at the end of the day, W's don't matter if you don't win the big one. The reason why you win games is so that way you can set yourself to get better position in the playoffs, to have better success to get to the Super Bowl. If you're not winning a Super Bowl, what's the point of winning? What's the point of setting yourself up for all this success? I do
think year to year, it's good to have. It's good to make steps. Like the Patriots, they go from 4-13 to 8-9, and then go 12-5, and then eventually 12-5 Super Bowl. I think that's a good check mark.
Oh yeah, but also there's times where you can have your rookie season or your first year in the league be good, and then all of a sudden you're just downward slope and you're just not stacking up W's anymore like that. I just think the reason behind what we said about JJ is the fact that there is no literal proof that he's going to be good in the NFL. None. Where we had proof. You can have arguments with me when Kirk Cousins came to the Vikings. Is he going to be good? You can have arguments with me. Is Sam Darnold at the Vikings going to be good?
And listen, I was the guy who said, no, they're not going to be bad.
Yeah, which is funny. Caleb thinks y'all going to win 10 games. I'm just more pessimistic. And I said, if you're needing JJ to win you games offensively, because is Aaron Jones a good running game? No, he's not.
In tandem with Jordan Mason, I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's not like to write home about. And their biggest also concern is defense. Also, last year what was it? 2 years ago, they had really bad defense. They kind of improved their offensive line.
Yeah, Flores came in super aggressive. Mm-hmm. I think that defense is probably the best part about them, besides that wide receiver room.
Right, and then offensive line as well too, especially to protect a young quarterback.
They've done a ton to do that. I mean, they got two Darisaw out there who looks like he's going to be out this week, or he's questionable this week. That Vikings, like, they've done everything to help JJ out here. They've upgraded the interior. They spent a first round pick on Donovan Jackson at Ohio State. Like, this offensive line is mean. Darisaw, Jackson, Kelly, who they got from the Colts, Will Fries, who they got from the Colts as well, I think. Brian O'Neill, that offensive line stacked. Wide receiver room, we've gone over it. Jefferson, like, Thielen, Naylor, Hawkinson.
On paper, it looks nice. And all of a sudden, they all play together, and next thing you know, JJ's getting sacked 5 times. Like, that's why my biggest thing was I at least had a proven winner with Kirk. I at least had something with Sam Darnold to write home about. And now all of a sudden, JJ, somehow JJ is better than both of them entering this season with KOC, which
he's certainly been given a better toolbox.
Oh, he has the best toolbox. He has no excuses to be bad. He has no excuses to be bad, and I'm okay with saying that. What I'm not okay with is any excuses being made for him if he goes for like 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions against the Bears. Then I'm like, what are you going to say about it now? Because the number one excuse that's going to get brought back is what? Well, he doesn't have NFL experience. Oh, well, he's never been a true team leader. Oh, so everything I just said. Like, that's why it's essentially I'm hedging my bet. If JJ does well, he's supposed to. If he sucks, you have the worst excuses of all time. You have no excuse to suck at all for JJ. And right now we go, a good way to wrap all this up. We go into halftime. Ravens up 20-13.
Yep.
Against the Buffalo Bills.
Let's get these college football recap out of the way so we can go ahead and enjoy the last bit of our football weekend. Mm-hmm. I had a couple of interesting things going on in CFB. Let's talk about this first things first. Florida loses to South Florida.
South Florida they are the Cinderella
18-13. They come in. They got ranked, I think, this week, 18th or whatever it was.
Well, yeah, you beat Boise State, who was going to win the Mountain West, and now you beat a top 15 Florida team. Like, yeah, might as well put USF number 1. They beat 2 ranked opponents, and they beat 1 ranked opponent that's probably going to win the Mountain West this year. And you're beating a Florida team,
SEC team.
Yeah. And a lot of people had DJ Langway as a Heisman candidate too. Like, good for USF. Good for them, dude. And mind you, this is another Billy Napier-led Florida offense. What a shock. Like, this, you get this out of Billy Napier almost every year. It's just, you need to fire him, and the next thing you know, DJ Langway is going to bail him out. And Florida just needs a new head coach. They have the players. They have the talent. They're very young. I just think they need a proven head coach over there at that squad.
Yeah. They might just hire the guy who beat them at USF.
Might as well. It's like,
he's been rumored as the guy who's going to get that next big job. I don't know his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, he's the number one, like, as of right now, he's the hottest commodity. He's going to be the number 1 head coaching hire at all of college football. It's going to be him.
How come ESPN doesn't tell me who their head coach is?
ESPN doesn't want to hide the fact that they ranked Florida 12th and they lost to that guy.
Alex Golish.
Well, guess what, Alex? Good for you. You beat Boise State 25th and you beat Florida. And I'm sure ESPN absolutely hates you that you're ruining their bracket.
Yeah, not great. Not a great start for Florida, who is now 0-2. Or 1-1, sorry. 1-1.
1-1, yep. The only positive is just an out-of-conference play game.
So we had a Blenami in our comment section. You know what a Blenami is?
No, I have no idea.
Blah. Arch Manning's actually good. Blah. Blenami. It's like tsunami, but blah.
Both me and you watched this game. And the stats of this game did not indicate how bad he was.
It was a bad start. It was a really bad start. The second drive of the game, he tries to throw an arm punt.
Yeah. He looks like Uncle Rico out there. Like, first of all, they didn't even cover. Let's just talk about that. Their spread, what was it? They were
36.5.
Yep. And they only won by 31. This San Jose State team shouldn't even play in Division I. This is not a good football team. And for Arch to be barely over 50% passing against this team, for him to not throw another touchdown in the second half of that game. Like, I needed Arch Manning to 4 touchdowns is nice. Yes, I get what all y'all are saying. 4 touchdowns is nice. But when you are less than 50% accurate and you putting up very poor yards on that offensively passing wise, like, no, I don't see that.
295 yards for him against San Jose.
Yeah, I needed 400 after what he did against Ohio State. Like, and also for everybody saying, well, Ohio State has like the number one defense in this country. We've only seen 2 weeks. It could get blown out by Oregon. Then get blown. Like, that, them being the number one defense was just, that is, you can't, none of these rankings should matter until week 7. And none of the stats should matter until we get into like week 5. Who's really the number one best team? Who's really the number one defense? Like, did Ohio State have a strong looking start defensively? Yes, because I got Matt Patricia, and Matt Patricia brought NFL level concepts, and the fact that Arch Manning cannot handle even 4 players rushing him, and he can't even beat his own. But he had an interception this game. He did not look good at all this game. He is about as mid can be against this type of team. Because, for instance, like Alabama, because we were talking about, like, we're going to eventually touch on that. Alabama beat the brakes out of their team, 73-0. That's what I needed to see out of Texas. I need a game where you dominated every facet of the game. And for you to not even cover the spread on your team against a team that shouldn't belong in D1, that's a little bit concerning. Like, that's...
Yeah, you know what? San Jose State is 0-2. You know who they lost to week 1?
Who?
Central Michigan.
There you
16-14.
go. And what did I always tell you about directional schools? Well, outside of South Florida, because South Florida is going in the right direction, and that's up.
Fucking love that for them. Yeah. All right.
Other notable ones.
Baylor.
Yep.
Upsets SMU 48-45 in double OT.
Yep. Good win for Baylor. Baylor has a really solid looking quarterback over there. SMU, I mean, this was a hard fought game for them. SMU was looking to be a very strong favorite. They lost to Clemson, I believe, last year in the playoffs. They ended up being a playoff team. And this is a very big disruptor for their season. And good for Baylor. And Baylor, I believe, lost their first game. They're 1-1 right now.
Baylor lost their first game? That sounds right. Let me look. Stand by.
Kansas State? Is that what it was?
Baylor. God damn it. Okay, there we go.
They lost to Auburn. That's who they lost to.
38-24. They kept up.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say that a good win for Baylor, bad loss for SMU. You do not want to. At least it was close though, but I don't think Baylor's going to be that strong by the end of the year. I think they'll be they'll be above 500 team, but it's not going to be looking good for SMU.
Speaking of good win, bad loss, UNLV versus UCLA.
Oh man, Nico.
Now we get to have a Blenami. Not that anybody was really defending Nico. I think there might have been a couple.
Yeah, this game, God almighty. Like, stat-wise, if you eliminate the interception, it's a decent game. Actually, really good game for Nico.
70% on...
But the thing is, when did that interception come, Caleb?
When it was the final drive of the game.
And how ugly was it?
He threw it right at the linebacker. He's lucky he didn't catch it because it just popped right back in the air and the DB got it.
Yeah, he literally goes, "Hey, you can have this, not me."
Threw it at his face. Like, it looked like this. It looked like the scene in The Longest Yard where, like, Adam Sandler like throws the ball at the ref's ball sack.
Yes,
like, it was just like
it couldn't be any more intentional if you tried.
Yeah.
No, it's Nico is, bro, and the fact that Tennessee blew out their team too, like, it's Tennessee's doing everything right and Nico's doing everything wrong since that split, and they are looking incredibly right. And he needed to have a bounce back game personally to eliminate this narrative. Like, he is getting in the territory of him not being starting in a Power 5 school next year. Like, if this slippery slope continues and they don't win games, like, because these stats seem very personally driven stats. So, like, very individually, like, oh, I'm going to pat my stats and look good. But this UNLV team ain't too bad neither. They are
No,
now
you've been
3
saying
and
that
0.
since the jump.
Yep, they are. They have a transfer quarterback. He was a starting quarterback last year for Virginia, University of Virginia, the Cavaliers, and I believe he's probably leading all FBS in passing yards. He has an extra game because he played week 0. But they are looking like a very solid all around team for a team outside of your traditional Power 5 conferences. But UNLV, you don't bring in Nico to lose to UNLV. You don't. You do not get him like, and for the first round picks grade that he was getting at the end of Tennessee last year, like before this whole fiasco of the NIL thing, like he was getting considerable looks. And this has been he's probably highly regretting what he did and that whole conversation, whether that was him personally or his father saying it or his camp, his agent, whatever that deal broke down with, like he is probably going to end up being on like an F, like a unpower 5 team. Like he's probably going to be at like maybe, I don't know, Boise State, not even, because Boise State probably has like a decent quarterback, but like maybe UCF. How about that? Go there if they retain their head coach. See if you can
USF.
USF, yeah. Or
USF isn't a Power 5 school.
no, it's not. I believe they're in Conference USA or whatever that is, Big East. The American Athletic Conference, AAC.
They are in the American Conference, the
Yeah,
AAC. Yeah,
the old Big East / Conference USA. Yeah. So I mean, that's probably where Nico's probably going to end up being at. I don't think the way UCLA is going to probably only win 3 games this year.
brutal.
Yeah.
I added this last one. Boston College loses to Michigan State 42-40 in double OT. That was your primetime game on NBC. An interesting back and forth matchup. I only caught the last couple sequences of it, like right before going into overtime, and then the overtime itself. Thought Boston College's offense was really impressive, but that defense it couldn't stop a nosebleed, and they let Aiden Childs kind of just get away with whatever he wanted.
Oh yeah.
But that quarterback is looking nice. Dylan Longerin, 34 of 45, 390, and 4 touchdowns.
Jeez.
They have a running back named Turbo Richard, 13 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown.
Hell yeah.
Real solid day for BC.
Mhm.
Wide receiver Lewis Bond is exceptional, 1190 and no score. Jeremiah Franklin, 884 and a touchdown. Turbo Richard, honestly, in the air too. 7 catches, 66 yards and a score. Like this dude is unbelievable. But
And this is Bill O'Brien is over there head
B.O.B. That's why I
Yep.
brought it up, because B.O.B. is my guy.
Yeah. And good. I mean, good. Boston College has always been an interesting team over the years. I mean, Luke Kuechly. They also had Andre Williams. They have Matt Ryan as well too. They've always had some interesting players, but it was just, I mean, BC is very much a academically led school. They are never really in the realm of having notable. Was it Anthony Constanzo? I think maybe was a BC guy. I believe so when he ended up playing for the
Sounds right.
If I'm not mistaken, if I remember my trivia from that draft class. But yeah, BC's always had solid-ish players, but they never had Harold Landry, I believe, is also a BC guy.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers as well, too.
AJ Dillon when he was around.
But yeah, no.
So
Boston
tough loss to Michigan State, but I think they're gonna be an interesting team in the ACC. Nothing crazy, but maybe they'll finish about where we thought UNC and Belichick would.
Yeah, and they had I don't even call it a good bounce back. It was just
20-6 win against UNC Charlotte.
20 points, man. Come on, man. Like, no way.
You want to give any thought to Belichick's press conference he had?
No, I mean,
you didn't hear what he said?
No, go ahead.
So a reporter straight up asked him about the story that he banned Patriots scouts from practice.
Oh, it's nonsense, man. What the bro?
They straight up asked him. Do you know what he said?
What'd he say?
Well, it's clear that I'm not welcome at their facility, so they're not welcome at mine. It's pretty simple.
Shut the fuck up. Win a game. Bill, there's a reason why you're at UNNC. Okay. Like, I don't know if Bill Belichick's going to watch this video or not. Shut the fuck up and win games. Okay. Like,
quit being Quit being
You
a
barely
bitter,
beat Charlotte.
barely.
Okay, me and
Yeah.
Caleb could beat Charlotte coaching there. Okay, let's be honest. Maybe we only win 13-6. Who gives a shit? But let me tell you something. Oh, you're not worried. Let me tell you, ain't got to worry about the Patriots because the Patriots ain't worried about you. Okay, like bro, they are now on their second coach since you. They are definitely moving on in a way better direction. Their number 10 quarterback a whole lot better than the number 10 quarterbacks, both of them that you picked. Okay. And how about you just worry about winning at UNNC, which, by the way, was like gift wrapped to you with all you could do whatever you want. And you somehow are messing this up as worse as you can be, getting your brakes beaten off by a dude who spends more time wearing a dog costume than he is throwing a football when he was at TCU. Grow up, bro. Nobody cares about you. You're about as irrelevant as your fucking girlfriend at this time. The
His
other reason
girlfriend
why,
might be more relevant than he is at this point.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, your time is so done. Like, you should have. It's one thing if you say this and you beat TCU, and it's one thing that you say this after beating Charlotte like 66-7. Grow up. Like, seriously.
No, nobody's questioning the
And
Patriots
then
on
what was it?
firing
Then I
on
remember
firing
now
Bill
the
anymore.
Patriots are like, you can't wear no UNNC gear inside your locker room. I think that is
Yeah,
what.
I don't think Drake May is getting too hot and bothered uh,
No.
about Belichick at this point.
Yeah, like a big whoop. Like, bro, like grow up. Like, nobody's talking about you. You're talking about us. Like, yeah,
And
you're.
it's like they're saving the Patriots time because nobody's there.
Yeah. Like, okay, like, hey, they're not allowed to scout us. Who am I gonna look at? Who? Bill. Thank you. Other
Anybody who's
than
worth looking
other
at is going
than
to
the
transfer.
ineligible draft prospect that is that left tackle of yours, the true freshman, really have no reason to watch UNNC.
He's going to transfer that tackle. I hope.
Oh yeah, because Bill Belichick's
Arizona State could
retired
use him.
probably by the end of the year. That's
Arizona
why.
State could use him.
God, yeah, whatever. Grow up, Bill. Grow up. Probably. How about you? Which is funny enough, coming from Bill Belichick, the big old like worry up, do your job and just focus on you. How about you worry about winning games at UNNC?
Ignore the noise. He sure likes making a lot of it himself.
Yeah, it's funny how you're always talking about your ex-girlfriend more than your ex-girlfriend talks about you. Like, there's a reason why the Patriots have clearly moved on into bigger and better things, and where you're still hung up that you got done dirty or whatever. Like, bro, it sounds like you were the toxic reason why in that relationship.
What's crazy is that Kraft earlier this week was like, yeah, my plan is to build a statue of Belichick right next to Tom's when he's done coaching.
Yeah, why not? Like, 100%. You got to
I don't think
honor
it's going to happen anymore.
Oh, no, because let me tell you this, it's going to be a statue, and his girlfriend's going to be right there next to it. Probably.
Looking at
Yeah.
Tom's. Looking at Tom's.
Exact. Thank you. There's a reason why your girlfriend wore a Tom Brady jersey and not a cut off hoodie. Get out of here, bro. Grow up.
All right. So we talked about Texas and San Jose State. Let's talk about Clemson almost losing to Troy.
Oh my! I remember texting you that, and I was like, "Can you check on Clemson real quick?" And it was like, what? I think it was.
They were up 7-0.
Yeah, 17, I think almost at one point, like 17 something. They were leading a good bit of the way.
Troy got out to a 16-3 lead at half, and then Clemson scored 17 in the third, and then another 7 in the fourth to make it 27-16. But this was not an easy win. Cade Klubnik did not bounce back in a way that you wanted him
to. This is also, I'm going to criticize Texas by only winning by 31 points. I'm going to really criticize Clemson for barely winning by over 11.
By 9. Yep.
I mean, yeah. And by winning by only by 9 points.
It's 11. I can't math. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
That's okay.
27-16 is your final.
Gotcha. And then I was just like, there's no way that, like, this was Clay Public was our like number 1 overall pick status guy because he was really good, looked really good at the end of the year. Clemson's having a really slow start, and now we're going into week 3 of does Clemson need a bounce back game again? Like, and there is no preseason in college football, so that's why I don't really like rankings and stuff like that. And this is just,
and they got your playoff team at Georgia Tech next week.
Yep, and that's not an easy team. Georgia Tech loves to upset people. They love to ruin stuff.
And they're going to Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you might not be picking Clemson this week.
I mean, the one
Find
time
out on Tuesday.
the one time I don't pick Clemson is the time they do win.
That's
But
a
yeah,
game. That's a featured matchup already.
yeah, and that's another. It's just not a good look for Cade Klubnik either. Like I cannot praise him higher than Arch from what I saw from him against a lesser opponent, also in Troy. Troy's
That
not a
running
good.
back's half decent though. Adam Randall.
Yes, it is. Like they Clemson is such a good overall team. Same with Texas defensively sick. They are very good defensively. Clemson, it's like, Kate, I just need you, man. I really need you to throw 400. I need to see like 31 for 40 or something. Like, or I'll even take a 200-yard game if you give me 70 on the ground. Like, I need something out of them. This coming up against Georgia Tech, but not a good one either. Alabama beat the brakes off Monroe. And mind you, this is a good test as well too, because a good barometer. Arch Manning, one of his first games he played against was this same team, and Alabama. Ty Simpson beat the brakes out of like Monroe easily, 73-0. Like that is what we wanted to see in a bounce back game. You get mollywopped by Florida State, I'm gonna need you to just take all your anger out on your next opponent, and they did. They fully did. Every aspect of Alabama's game was straight up dominant. This is exactly what they needed to do, and they absolutely did it. And I think even though they won 73-0, like it's a B letter grade for me for an overall performance because you're supposed to do that against Troy. So another one.
So when we talked about the other ones, we talked about
Charlotte
UNC and Charlotte. So let's get to the featured matchups. I'm going to save the top one for last.
Gotcha.
The Battle of Iowa. Iowa State, number ranked, 16 ranked at Iowa. Iowa State wins 16-13. Kind of just what we expected.
Iowa, can you get a quarterback that knows how to throw the ball? Like, have you realized that that's a part of the game at this point?
No, they haven't.
Okay, because you're not winning a meaningful game until that happens. But Kurt Ferentz, he is only one game away from being the all-time winningest head coach in Big Ten history. He is tied with Woody Hayes right now out of Ohio State at 205 wins.
Interesting.
But yeah, good for Iowa State.
Illinois beats the brakes out of Duke 45-19.
Early on in this game, the big reason why this game's on here, not because of like Illinois necessarily, it's more the fact that Duke was relatively hanging out with them the first half, the first quarter to a half quarter into the second quarter with this Illinois team, and Duke is going to be playing UNC this year.
Yep.
And I'm taking Duke to beat them based on what I saw this game. And what it says on paper, right? Like 45-19 doesn't really indicate how. I mean, the game was a close game up until half. And then
it was 13-14 Illinois.
Yeah, and I think Brett Bielema has unbelievable success. He's been successful at Wisconsin for many years over there. He was also somewhat successful in Arkansas, and now him in Illinois. Like he's a proven college football coach. He's like a solid 10-win, 9-win level head coach, and Duke just couldn't keep up with that level of veteran like coaching ability, I would say. But Duke is going to beat Bill Belichick, and he's going to be worrying about their gear inside of his locker room, whether or not freaking New England's going to be in there.
All right, fuck me. Arizona State travels to Mississippi State. So Arizona State loses 24-20 on a last play deep bomb that killed them on like the first drive. It's the same thing. Like this speedy wide receiver. I do not have his name off the top of my head. People are saying he might be the fastest player in like the entire nation.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? His name is Brendan Thompson. So 6 catches, 133 yards, 2 touchdowns.
This is where Caleb first experiences college football heartbreak. Since
it wasn't close at halftime.
Yeah. So because he's very new to college football, he usually followed the Gophers beforehand, kind of like not really as in depth, right? You would say you probably were like 80%, 70% committed.
Yeah.
To them.
So that all started. To make a long story short, my old professor in college had me for a sport media production class follow a college team that wasn't UNH, make a blog about it, and he would teach me how to use Photoshop and all that stuff through that. I've forgotten everything I knew about Photoshop since then, but I had a blog, and I had a couple buddies that are big Minnesota Gophers fans, adopted me into that fan base, and I chose to write about them, and that was their 2022 season when they went and beat somebody in the Pinstripe Bowl. I think it was Syracuse. And yeah, so that's kind of how that started. Then my quarterback at UNH, Max Brosmer, transferred to the Gophers and played his senior year there last year. Now he's a backup for the Vikings. Hopefully a starter at some point soon.
I'll write that down on my sticky note.
Max Brosmer, starter for the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of the story about that. But ASU, my mom used to live in Arizona for such a long time. I had such a soft spot for Larry Fitzgerald and the Cardinals, the Phoenix Suns, the Diamondbacks, the Coyotes when they were there. And Arizona State is that Phoenix, Tempe area college because, Arizona is all the way out in Tucson. Who's winning?
Right now, I believe it is still 27-13 Ravens. And Buffalo just tried to do a deep ball. That's what I was trying to look up to see, but still, yeah.
Yikes. And yeah, so when I picked up Arizona State last year, it was their run to win the Big 12, play Texas in the Cotton Bowl. So that's kind of how that all turned out. So hopefully that story wasn't too long. But yeah, this game pissed me off.
So now Caleb has like real investment on a team. Not only did he have like some outside forces of why he should follow Arizona State, but now he's like truly into college football. And the one thing I told him was like, get prepared for this team to dictate your mood for a whole week.
They did.
And when he texted me, I was like, oh, because now remember how this low feels? That high is going to be sick. But some of the main concerns I did have when Arizona State was playing against that other, what was it, like Eastern Arizona University or Northern
Arizona?
Yeah, I was like, bro, this,
sloppy.
It was very sloppy. It was still like their offensive line was heavily. I had a lot of concerns about it. Tyson's still a stud though.
Had a couple of big drops, but he made up for it on some crucial late game third downs.
Yeah. The big positive from it though is that it's an out of conference schedule.
We got unranked for it.
Yeah, which should, because Mississippi State was the worst team in the SEC by far last year. So that's like, unless Dalvin Cook scored a touchdown, so we're now only down by 7 points for the Bills.
Cook, not Dalvin Cook.
Somebody's cooking. Okay.
James, not
Yeah.
Dalvin.
And then so
Jimmy Cooks.
But ultimately, I think Arizona State, unranked is very strong. Because we don't know. Maybe this Mississippi State team is like an 8-win team. We do not know that yet. And
now I gotta pull for these fuckers with their cowbells because it makes me look good.
Oh yeah, the worst was Caleb was like, I hate these cowbells. I don't know what's going on. This is the worst.
Ban them. Ban them. But I had a whole rant with my buddies on PlayStation last night as I was kind of cooling off. Not cooling off. I was only heating up. And I'm like, what good has Mississippi ever done for the United States? Like, why are they a state? Why should they be here?
Because Brett Favre took all the money from the poorest people on the planet, essentially. If you don't remember that whole scam, like that, Brett Favre was out there scamming some of the poorest people in the United States out of money. But anyways,
I was livid.
Yeah, but it's great to see that Caleb has now experienced college football heartbreak for the first time. But Arizona State going forward, I think it's them, and I think Texas Tech, the team that I have.
Somebody said Iowa State was the best team in the Big 12.
Yeah, you know what? Because that was winning against a rival like that is very good, especially how lopsided Iowa has always been against Iowa State. And I think Iowa State is a legitimate. I mean, they beat Kansas State. Kansas State was a legitimate threat until Iowa State loses. It's their division to win. And lastly,
so Arizona State's third place deal.
Probably. No, I still put him. I would still put him above Texas Tech because I
What about
actually.
Utah?
Well, Utah's only beaten shitty teams. It's not like I don't know. Arizona State has at least went to the Big 12 championship and has went to and hung against UT. And there's no difference between like that UT team and that Arizona State team is relatively the same outside of Ewers, their starting quarterback, and their wide receiver. But outside
So
of that,
Arizona State's got to kick ass the next 3 weeks. Texas
Mhm.
State at Baylor, who just knocked off a pretty decent opponent. I think that was it, right? They beat SMU, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then TCU, who beat Belichick.
Yeah, but we don't know how good they actually are.
And then it's at Utah versus Texas Tech versus Houston at Iowa State.
It's becoming a very interesting schedule really fast for Arizona State.
I hate it.
A lot of ups and downs, but also if you beat all those opponents, you're going to be feeling very good about yourself when it comes to the college football playoffs.
If I lose, I'm going to like these bags under my eyes are just going to get lower and lower and lower.
But yeah, no, I think they are. I still think I'm going to say second favorite behind Iowa State.
Yep. They play their first ranked opponent against Utah in October, and then Texas Tech in October the following week. And then Michigan at Oklahoma, 15 versus 18. Oklahoma wins 27-13.
Mm-hmm. Good, solid win for them.
John Mateer, Heisman favorite?
Yes, I would say so. It is now him. I mean, I need to see Tommy Castellano's stats, but like they are like front runners for that. John Mateer gets I'm not saying Heisman moment, but that is a great win on his resume. Also, Michigan kind of imploded on themselves. Bryce Underwood, a little bit of a shouting match with some of his teammates on the sideline.
Sherrone Moore is looking like not the right answer.
I mean, I could have kind of told you that. I think they kind of hired him because they knew what was going down with the whole stealing play calling BS that happened. Like, no offense, he doesn't look like a winning head coach in college football. Like, they had a very decent team last year and they only won 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just lack of leadership and lack of coaching ability with him.
Yeah, see, that's why JJ McCarthy is so important, Gerardo. Is because look how Michigan fell off the second he left.
Oh, please. I mean, you can argue. I could have the argument the fact that if Harbaugh was still there, they would actually won 10 games the year after him. Like,
I know I was being an asshole.
No, it's absolutely fine, but I also think like Moore is not a good head coach. I don't believe that but he's also very young in his head coaching career, and he's also been given the Michigan job. That is a very big job to get.
It's a Big Ten job.
And I don't think he's going to get a Big Ten win at all. He's going to win. He won't win 10 games. That's what I'm saying. He's going to win in the Big Ten, yes, but he won't win like 10 games.
I don't know, man. Are they going to win the Big Ten?
Well, that's true. He beat Ohio State, didn't he, last year? Yeah, because Ohio State lost it. So he already has the game that only matters for
They got a MAC team next week.
Yeah, they play what?
Central.
Bowling. Who?
Central Michigan.
Okay.
And then they're at Nebraska versus Wisconsin, at USC versus Washington, at Michigan State versus Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland, Ohio State.
If they do good, it just makes John Mateer look good. Like, it makes Oklahoma look even better. I think Oklahoma being ranked lower than them was a little bit disrespectful. I don't think Michigan is a top 15 team in this country and won't be by the end of the year. But good,
I would be shocked if they're a top 15 team right now. 23. They're ranked 23.
Yeah, because they were ranked 15 going in. Yeah. I think a solid win for Oklahoma. Good out of conference game. The fact that John Mateer really they really showcase his level of talent on the college football level, because he's not just a thrower. He's a very good running quarterback as well, too. And Michigan, like I said, I just feel like just imploded on themselves this game.
So coming up, Oklahoma, number 13. They're going to Temple. Then they host Auburn. That's going to be a good game. Then they host Kent State. Sheesh. And then they got Texas.
Yep. They were very smart with their out-of-conference play games. I think they made easy ones for themselves, and the games that they may lost, like let's say against Michigan, they had bounce back games already in place. That's like Oklahoma's schedule is very much a reflection of how you would probably want to set it up. Easy first opponent, tough opponent week 2, good bounce back game week 3 if I lose week 2. Because if they lose to Michigan, Michigan was already ranked higher than them, and they have a good bounce back, and then if Michigan wins outright throughout the season, that's a good for their resume. It's like, oh, we lost to Michigan and they won 10 games. But if they beat Michigan, like they look really solid. They're going to be 3-0 going against that Auburn team, which is also their former starting quarterback as well too over there
Oh,
at
interesting.
Auburn. And he's looked really well with that new Auburn system as well too. So it's going to be a very interesting game. A lot of narratives in that game, and I think that would be a good testament whether or not. I think the Heisman moment is going to come from John Mateer against UT. I think that's when that would be his game, whether or not he wins Heisman or not.
Or maybe it's Arch Manning's.
If Arch Manning throws 6 touchdowns and 400 yards, yes, it's
in every game leading up to that.
Yeah, very true too. He's going to have to look really nice up until that point.
All right. Well, that's your featured matchups college football segment. Is there anything regarding college football that we didn't get to that you want to get to before we close out?
No, that's probably pretty much going to be it. We touched on everything. Really weird win for Arch Manning. As well too. Some of the teams did bounce back. 2 out of the 4 teams that we picked, not even. Only one team really bounced back, and that was Alabama against Monroe.
UNC bounced back. They got to win, and Belichick got to tell New England to shove it.
Yeah, whatever. Wait, how did Florida? I know Florida State beat the brakes out of their team, but how did Tommy Castellanos actually look like?
I was just looking at that before I moved to Oklahoma.
Yeah, Tommy, I want to see what he does, because if depending on that stat line, he may be the Heisman front runner, because beating Alabama is a really
8 of 11, 237 and 3.
How about what rushing attempts? What was he going to rushing?
A lot of people ran the ball. 4 for 7.
Okay, so they
probably got out to a wicked early lead, and they're like, "Okay, get out."
Yeah. So yeah, I would go with I'm beating Alabama. It wasn't like he had a good stat line against Alabama. He did in total offense, just not passing wise. But I think it's still going to be John Mateer. Yeah, I think Mateer is number 1 on Heisman favorites right now. He should be. I do not know what the current Heisman.
I bet your Arch's not the favorite anymore.
It would be crazy if that was. As of right now, Lenore Sellers at South Carolina is the current favorite.
That would make sense.
Yep. Devin Dampier, the quarterback for Utah, is number 2. Carson Beck. Miami's looking nice with him. Gunnar Stockton at Georgia, Arch Manning, and John Mateer rounds that off.
Arch Manning and John Mateer being next to each other is disrespectful, but
yep. Jeremiah Smith wasn't too bad.
Hard for a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. And Florida State they have a bye week next week. So other than that, I'm gonna think the best looking one out of here is John Mateer. I mean, that Utah quarterback looks like he just likes to run over people, bro. That dude looks like a stud. Yep. And Carson, I mean, we talked probably preseason wise outside of JJ. I mean, we did talk a lot of smack about Carson Beck, about transferring to Miami to go play with his girlfriend. Great bounce back year for him. Like, he has looked an absolute stud this year, and he's been absolutely killing it this year. That notable win against Notre Dame has been a big one as well too.
Did they play anybody notable this week, or are they on bye?
They beat, who do they beat? They're playing against the FBS killers, the playoff killers. South Florida.
No, I was talking about this week. Did Miami play?
Oh, Miami played nobody this week.
Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah. And they play Miami. You know, if Carson Beck continues to play well, he has a very early on strong case for the first 5 games of the season.
Okay, but South Florida's going to kick their ass. So what are we talking about?
Yep. Now, I mean, can you imagine that the narrative of South Florida being the best team in Florida right now.
I love it.
Yeah, but did we like when University of Central Florida was getting all this BS hype and then they wrote themselves as the national champions in like 2017 or whatnot?
I remember that.
Yeah. It's another directional Florida school getting all the hype in Florida. But if you South Florida, Florida State, and Florida, those are their next 3 games. Miami has every bit of reason to say they're easily the best team in Florida, and they should win those games. They should. They're at home.
South Florida's a real powerhouse.
The fact that Miami's toughest opponent this one is probably South Florida, even though they will be on the road against Florida State, which would be a very that would be and also Tommy Castellanos. That would be a good game for him as well too, to prove whether or not he could hang. But other than that, I'm going to give Carson Beck his flowers for having a solid win against Notre Dame, and he did what he was supposed to do against this team, against BC, the Bethan Cookman.
Yeah.
Carson Beck, 2 for 24, 267 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is solid as can get.
How much for 24?
2 for 24. 22 for 24. My bad.
I was like, what? He threw 400 yards on 2 passes?
And it was both over 100 yards, bigger than the field. Yeah, no. 22 of 24 for 267 yards and 2 touchdowns.
All right. There's your Heisman watch. I'm sure Gerardo's going to have a report card out midweek.
Oh, yes. I love doing report cards.
So that'll do it for us. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching the videos so far. We appreciate it. We appreciate you watching the full length ones, like the ones here. We'll be back we'll be back later this week, and we'll figure it out from there. So, thank you all so much. We'll see you next week.
Adios.